Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio. I wanted to kind of catch you up on where I am with quilting and a couple of other projects here around the house. It's been kind of a strange couple of days. The projects have not been going smoothly, and I'm working around that the best I can. I've had a couple of issues with my machine, and it is the thread has been shredding at the needle while I'm quilting on the Hawaiian quilt. When I'm quilting in the white fabric, the white on white, and I've had this happen before with the same type of fabric, and I believe it's the way the print is applied to the fabric. It's kind of sprayed on or painted on or something, and if I don't have a big enough needle, oftentimes that'll shred. And what I'm quilting with is a 3.5 MR needle, and I probably need a 4.0, which I do not have at the moment. When I ran out, I just didn't order anymore, and so I went online and ordered more needles, and they're supposed to be in tomorrow. So in the meantime, I have switched over to quilting the green fabric, so I'm just doing all the swirls. But the motion of doing swirls, you know, you're moving your arms around like this, it's really hard on my back, so it's slow. I did quilt for about an hour and a half this evening, but that's as far as I got. And so I'm looking at the quilt over here. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get this done. Also, I started a sewing project, and I did get that completed. I got a couple of pieces of fabric from a friend. I think I did a little fabric haul video. A lot of it was homespun, but there were some cottons in there. And I did make a blouse, and I've got patterns for 2 more to make. So I'll be kind of working on those in between. But I also took the, for my machine problems that I've been having, I took the extended base plate off, and I'll show it to you. I've had this on the machine. I've had this 10 years, and I don't know if you can see, but it is warped. You can see it better this way. You can see how warped it is on this side. This is the thinner side because this is the side that slides onto the back of the machine. Well, it goes this way. If this is the base of the machine, it slides on like this, and this is warped, and I was having a lot of trouble with my ruler rocking on it, and I'm going to show you with this. Yeah, that ruler will just rock. So I took this off, and I've done this a couple of times. I'll take it off and I'll let it rest, try and set something heavy on it to kind of flatten it out, but it's just not flattening out. So I put my old base plate on. It's a lot smaller, but it's not warped. So I'm just going to go with that. I was going to order a new one, but they're up to $160 now, and I just am not wanting to spend that money at the moment. So I've got some medical bills coming in, so that's going to have to be put on the back burner until those bills are paid and we're caught up with that kind of thing. So, and also another problem I've had is the extra light that I have that's hold on to the side of my machine magnetically developed a short. It's in the wiring, and so I had to unplug that. And I've been trying different ways to get more light down there, and I just can't come up with anything. At the moment, I have 2 small flashlights taped to my machine, trying to see if that'll work, but it's really not making any difference. There's just doesn't seem to be any way I can get extra light down there. I'm going to have to get either more powerful light bulbs or spotlights. I don't know what I need, but I just cannot seem to find a way to get the light under the machine because it's all coming from overhead, and it's just, the machine's just throwing a shadow, and there's just nothing I can seem to do about it. So that is what it is, and I've tried a small those little GoPro type cameras, only this is a different brand, and there's no sound with it. Even though I've taken it out of the waterproof case, it should have good sound, and the reviews on these cameras are good, so I may have just gotten a bad camera, but it's either I'm going to have to take it apart and put an extra hole in the case so that there is sound, or just return it. And I think I'm just going to have to return it. So, you know, I'm trying, but I am just not getting anywhere with getting better video of quilting. So I apologize for that, but I just don't know what else I can do. In the meantime, I want to show you the Dresden plates that I bought, and show you the solution that I came up with for them. I went ahead and I washed all these blocks because every time I handled them, I was winding up getting a stuffy head and headaches and stuff, and there was just a ton of dirt in these blocks. I separated them into 3 different sets, and I washed each set 6 times, and then the final rinse, the water was still not clear, but I stopped because the edges were getting really ragged, and I don't think they would have held up much longer. So, you know, I was getting little fibers of fabric in the water, so I decided I needed to stop. And I went ahead and I measured them, and they're all about the same size except for these 2, which are a little bit smaller. So there's 27, I think I had 27 blocks, or there are 27 blades in them, I can't remember. But anyway, they're all about the same. So what I did was I made a circle out of paper, and this is scrapbook paper. It's a 12 by 12 inch sheet, and I used a compass. This is a drafter's compass, and these are points. You buy these points separately, and you can get them at any place that sells drafting supplies. Like if you go to Joann's in the drafting section, if they still have one in your area, you can pick these up, and they slide onto a small ruler like this. This is a 12-inch ruler, and then you tighten them here, and then you can, you know, adjust the pencil lead part, and this one holds a pretty thick lead, and you adjust that. And I wanted a 10.5 inch circle, so I adjusted this to 5 1/4 inches, and I just measured it by this ruler here and adjusted it. And from here I've got it right at 12 here, and over here I've got it at 5 1/4. So for this side of it, that's where you need to put it to get your measurement. So right at 12 and right at 5 1/4, and then I've got, well, actually, if you can see these numbers a little bit better. I'm reading them backwards. Okay, this is the 1 inch mark. It says 11 here too, so you can read it either way, but I've got it at the 1 inch mark. So here I've got this set at the 0, and I'm going by this mark here, and here this side is 5 1/4. So that's where I've got it set, and that gave me a 5 1/4 inch radius. And then I always use my rotary mat to do this because I don't want to puncture a hole in something, because this is sharp. So if I put this down in the center and then just turn it as I'm marking, and then I cut it out, and you can make up to a 24 inch circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bunch of these, because this is not heavy cardstock, it's pretty flimsy. And then I'm going to take my blocks on I'm going to lay them right side down, lay the cardboard on the back of it, and then I'm going to iron these up like this. And then what I will get is a smooth edged Dresden plate. Now, I did a lot of research, and you will see these with a blanket stitch on it. I currently don't have a machine that will do a blanket stitch. I have a zigzag, and I have straight edge machines, but I don't have any with decorative stitches at the moment. So that's another expense that I'm not going to be going through at this moment with medical bills coming in. So I'm just going to make do with what I've got, and I really don't want to do this by hand. It'll just take too long, and I'm just not up to it, quite frankly. And so I'm going to fold these over, and the research I did, it is a historically correct way of doing these. There's nothing wrong with it. There were plenty of quilts that were made this way, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I can zigzag them down with my machine onto a backing fabric. So this will be a project that I will be doing as soon as I get the Hawaiian quilt done. Well, then after that, I have some charm packs, and probably be looking for another set of these. This is a Kona cotton solid, and they're just charm squares, Robert Kaufman. And I just like these colors. I got these I think at my local quilt shop. They're Paint Box Basic Coordinates is the name of these, and there's 42 pieces in here, and I think these colors are just really rich and really pretty, and they go really well with these. And this is Bada Bing by me and my sister Designs, and they remind me of the 30s prints, and I think that's probably what they were, 30s reproductions designs. And I bought this at my local quilt shop last year along with this, and then this year I decided I wanted to make a quilt. The quilt I wanted to make, I was going to need 3 packs of these charms squares, and local quilt shop had sold out, so I found some online and I bought 2 more packs. So I have the printed squares that the pattern calls for, and so I've got 3 of these, and I have 1 of these, and I think this will work. So I'm just going to kind of intermix these and see how it goes, but I'll show you the pattern when I get started on that. So I'm going to work on the Dresdens first. Well, I'll probably work on them both at the same time, quite frankly, as most of us quilters do. We do more than one project at a time. After that, I have a set of goose track blocks. I need to get those cleaned, and before I start working on those, because they're about like what these Dresdens were. They're pretty dirty. And if you're out looking at vintage tops and blocks, you may not realize how dirty these things are. And if you think about it, just they've been sitting around since the 1920s or 1930s, they're going to be dirty even if they've been in storage. So if they are in good enough shape, you can go ahead and do a quilt soak with them. I use the Quilters soap from Quilters Rule, and that cleans them pretty well. It's not real good about removing stains, but it gets the dirt out. But these were not stained, they were just dirty, so this works really good. So I think that about gets you caught up. Hopefully my needles will be in tomorrow. If you have the issue I have with thread shredding when you're quilting, there's a couple things you can do. First off, rethread your machine to make sure your thread path is correct. Rethread your bobbin. You could switch to a new bobbin. You could switch to a different thread. Like I am using a cotton fabric, which tends to be more fragile than a polyester thread, so I could switch to polyester. But I'm using this pure white thread, and I don't have any in polyester right now. All I had was in the cotton. So I did order white poly thread. I ordered the larger needles. You can make sure your quilt top is not tight, just loosen it a little bit, and quilt a little bit slower. If you're going in manual mode and you're going pretty fast, either slow down the speed or go to automatic and slow down, and see if any of that helps you. A lot of times it's it can be the thread you're using that it's heating up your needle, and your needle is then shredding the thread. And that happens to me with metallic threads especially. And so what I do is I slow down and I oil that needle frequently during the quilting process, because that is what is causing the thread to break. It's the needle heating up, and I know that because I've touched the needle when that happens, and that needle is hot enough that it burns your fingers. So you can try that too. And for me, I think it is, I just needed a bigger needle, and I believe it's the fabric that I have. Now on the border, I have another white on white fabric, but it's a different print. And even though there's more of the paint on it, it's like a thinner coat. So I went through that whole border and didn't have this problem. It's just when I started working on the dots, the white fabric with the dots on it, that's doing it. So hopefully the larger needle will work. If not, then I'll switch to the poly thread, and if that doesn't work, I've already slowed down my speed, and I've already loosened my quilt top and changed the bobbin, which is another issue I had today. Yesterday I changed the base plate, and I was getting ready to load the bobbin, and I could not find my bobbin case. So I had a spare. I had two spares actually, and so I pulled them both out, and they're both a little bit different, and neither one of them had the anti-backlash spring in it. So I had some new ones of those, so I pulled those out, and for the life of me I could not get those springs to set right in those bobbins. So I thought I was doing it correctly, but I went online and looked up the video on how to do it, and sure enough I was doing it okay. But when I was doing it along with the video, went in no problem. I have no idea what I was doing wrong, but I was doing something wrong. So anyway, it's just been kind of a comedy of errors the last couple days with things just not going smoothly, but hopefully I'm on the right track now and can get this quilt going. I would like to get it done soon because it's been on the machine for a week and I'm not very far with it. So anyway, that's where I am now, and that's about all I have. I hope you enjoyed a little peek into what is going on, and I hope to see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my newest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.